Mm, transcription. Yeah, okay. I think we are recording. Um, Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Raj and I'm a PhD student at IISc. And today is your second live session for this course, Python for Data Science. Um, so before we get started, did everyone get the link for the previous recording? There were many people who wanted the recording link. So it's put up on YouTube. I've also shared it on the discussion forum. But did you get it?
Yes, we got it.
Got it? Great. And I've also shared so last week's writing that you were doing, a bit of handwritten stuff was also made as PDF and uploaded. Hopefully you've got that also. Um, where is it shared? Okay. Uh, so it's on the discussion forum. The Q&A section, the Q&A tab that you get in your, um, NPTEL website, right? This particular thing, Q&A here. So you can go there, and that's basically the link to the discussion forum. There I've posted a message there. Okay. Yeah, this one, Q&A. So if you click that, you will go to the discussion forum. All right. Okay. Um, Raven, can you, okay. Um, okay, so before we get started, any doubts anyone has, who would like you would like to clarify in the week one and week two lectures that went on? So roughly the topics that were covered were basically sequence data types, right? So we had strings, lists, tuples, arrays, sets, dictionary, etc. Uh, and then in the week one, I think we had all these variables and data types being discussed. Operator precedence we covered last week in the live session. So before we get into what practice assignments we have, any specific doubts anyone want to ask? We can start from there. No doubts. Is everything clear? Go ahead, Kiran.
Yeah. This is regarding the week three topic, that is copying of the data frame, right? Using the shallow method, that is deep equal to false. I
Yeah.
am getting the exact output, that is modifying one of the data frame will affect the other one. But however, their memory references are different. I have asked this question in the Q&A. Could you please clarify how even though the memory references are different, how the modification of one of the data frame will affect the other one?
No, no. Memory references are the same. That's shallow copy, right?
No, if when I use ID of the first data frame and ID of the second data frame, both gives me the different memory location.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you use the ID of function Python, right, it gives the memory reference of the particular object. Correct me if
Okay.
I'm wrong. So if we use the ID of the first data frame and as well as on the ID of the second data frame, both
Okay.
points to the two different memory location.
Hmm. That's weird. If it's shallow copy, then it shouldn't do that. That's correct.
Yes,
Mm,
I have pasted the output snippet as well into the
okay.
Q&A section. So
Okay.
if you have the one of the ID open, we can have the live debugging kind of a thing.
Sure. So just a moment. Uh,
I can share the code that I have pasted over
mm,
there. Yeah, let me share that.
yeah, share it across. We'll just get through it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the code that I have used.
Okay. Mm, fine. start. Okay. Um, deep is equal to false. Okay. ID of this one. ID this one. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So I'm not sure what exactly ID does. Identity of an object. Okay. This is going to be unique among simultaneously existing objects.
Yeah, that gives
Mm.
the reference to that particular object.
Okay.
So the
Uh,
question is, even though they have two references, right?
mm.
How come one of the data frame we modify is getting effect to the second data frame?
Got it. Yeah, I got a question. Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Values reference is also the different. If you can look at your 8528 and 9008, so their values references are also different, and the data frame reference is also different. So I'm
Yeah,
just
that's correct.
curious to know
Mhm.
like how they are interrelated in that case.
Mm. Got it. Yeah, so I'll have to check what this ID does exactly. And
See, ID basically what my understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, you just use any single variable, like for example, x equal to 10 and y is equal to 10, and then you
okay,
can just use ID of x and ID of y. It will just point to the same the object,
okay.
because 10 is a single object where these two variables are pointing to the same object, right? That's a memory efficient in Python.
No, 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 no. No, this doesn't make sense. No, no. So so 10 is not an object as such that's being copied here. X is so it's a value. So if you're telling me that it should give the um memory address, then this is wrong. No, this itself shouldn't work.
Then what is that value that is pointing over there?
So that's what I'm not clear exactly what identity of an object means. Is it some yeah, so I'll have to check and come back. I think there's uh I'll have to see what exactly ID does and gives you this one.
Yeah, because what I understood was when I look at the reference count of that particular object, that is 10, when you
Yeah,
look at the ref count of the function,
yeah.
it will use the two value, number two, because x and y will be pointing to those that particular 10 object, right?
Mm,
That is what my understanding is, and the Google also says the same thing. So
mm.
according to that, I was mapping my understanding into that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I would like to learn more about that.
Sure, sure.
Thank
Okay, yeah. So I'll take it up and get back to you with this for the next session. So exactly what ID does, and if ID is not doing exactly what we're thinking it's doing, then what is the right way of looking at this? Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
yeah, fine. Makes sense. Jeevana Sri Jin. So you can ask your question. Uh, Jeevana Sri Chinnap, can you ask your question? How to set directory in Spider? Yeah, that's so I don't use Spider, so I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Um, if somebody knows in the class, can they tell how do you set directory in Spider? Uh, no? Okay, we'll get back to you, Paula Bosley. Yeah. Um, I'm sorry. Okay. Where do we find the answers for the questions I posted below the video box? What questions you posted below the video box? I have no idea what that means. Oh, on the NPTEL this one. Okay, okay. No, no. I think that goes into the this one, the discussion forum. So there they will answer the question for you. Yeah. Nasir, can you ask your question? Kiran, if you're question is over, can you lower your hand? Nasir, can you ask your question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Good
go ahead.
evening all. Sir, there is two query. First thing is class start at 6 o'clock or before 6 o'clock?
I'm sorry, your voice broke. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
The
go ahead.
class, because when I got at 5, just now I reached home and log in at 6:05, but time recorder says that's 1 hour 44 minutes. So I just wanted to know whether the class started at 6 o'clock or before 6 o'clock.
No, no, the class starts at 6 o'clock only. This timing is basically from when anyone in the world joins this link. So it's a bit weird that way. Don't worry about that. Class starts at 6, say 6 to 8, 2 hours class is there. Okay.
The next thing is actually now we are
Yeah.
in week 2. Am I right?
Yeah.
So because I when I just logged in, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You logged in, yes.
Logged in, I just saw one. Uh, I think Sav was asking about data frame, etc. I think it comes in third week. So my query is: are you going week wise? What is uploaded in the uh, portal, or it's random?
So it's not random. The idea is that because week three lectures are already open. So if you have watched week three and if you have doubts there, we can clarify it now itself. Not a problem. It's, so currently the focus is going to be on week two lectures. If you have any doubts on week three lectures, we can also clarify that. Not a problem.
So now coming to week 2, because I have watched the week 2 and almost submit the assignment.
Yeah.
There, I just saw two coming to sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, discard one particular function is there where we can remove the element.
Okay.
Okay, so what has happened is in the PPT which we have got, or the PDF which we have got, it
Mhm.
says that discard is not going to change, I mean, affect any of the. Actually, it is not going to work for tuple. I think tuple or size. I just forgot. In one of them is not going to work. So when I tried, and it's not going to give any error. But when I tried, when first I gave the initial value, then I ran, then I gave this option of what I just now said. No, they give the option, then it worked. So, but in PPT is given as it will not work. So I just
Okay.
want clarity, because no, in case if they are going to evaluate and that question comes, there is a confusion now.
Uh, very specific. Is it in the lecture slides? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, 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 yes. Uh,
Okay.
it is in the lecture slide. Okay, I'm also going to that lecture slide. It's not, do one thing, sir. You please carry on. I will just find and get back to you. I'll raise the hand as soon as I
Sure.
find it. Huh?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Um, Inturi Srinivas, can you ask your question? Inturi Srinivas, do you have a question? Okay. Um, week three assignment question number 6. Kainath, what's the problem that you have? Question number 6. Okay. See, if you just say I have a problem, what is the problem? You will have to tell that clearly. So until we get these answers, um, so shall we do the practice assignment 2? So for the first question, Any thoughts? What is the right answer? What is null values? Yeah, okay. So null values basically means that something is empty or not available or unknown. That is called null values. So there is a in the videos you will see that there's a specific way of checking null values, or at least in the sense of pandas data frame, right? So that you will have to use to understand to solve the problem, to solve that question. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this question. Variable a is defined as a is so and so. Um, and then you want to convert it from this very weird casing to this sort of a casing, right? So what would be the right way of doing it? First option, second option, third or fourth? Any thoughts? Anyone?
Sir, the fourth option.
Fourth option, right? So let's just verify that. And you can see, so a dot title, right? That's exactly what we get. We get the we get the casing of a sentence. I mean, for a sentence casing. So it's G and M, title casing, right? Okay. The others. So basically here upper will do what? Upper will just make all the
Hello?
letters as caps lock. Lower will make all the letters as lowercase, right? And a dot string is basically just going to be same thing. I don't know if
Hello, sir.
it doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't even exist. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, Meenakshi, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Do you have a, do you have a question? Who is asking?
The Sudarshan, sir.
Sorry.
Sir, can you explain the question again, please? Question and answer, please.
You want me to explain this question again?
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll come there. Okay. Um. Yeah. So here what we're doing is basically so we have the variable that is defined is, let's say, this particular string, which is small g, capital O, and then small d, and so on. What we want to know is you want to convert this from this particular sort of a representation to this, right? So as you can see here, the idea is that you want each word to have the first letter as a capital letter, right? So that if you do dot upper, right, that you can actually see here itself. So when I do dot upper, and if you see the output here, that's basically the everything is set as caps lock. This is not what we want, right? We want it to be in this form. First letter G should be capital, rest all small letters, and then again M capital, and then again everything small, right? So that basically happens in the title case setting. So that you can see if you put A dot title, you get this sort of an output. Is that clear, Sudarshan?
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Um, yeah.
Hello, sir.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
The code where are you executing is Jupyter or Spider?
So I'm using a different thing called as PyCharm, but you can use it. You can use Spider. You can use Collab. Anything is fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we can
What
use
happens?
online computers in Google.
Yes, yes. So you can use that Collab, right? Collab is basically on online Google provided, right? You can use that also, not a problem.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. What happens in the string option case? That's so there is no string option as such available, right? Okay, so there's no string option as such, right? So here you will get this attribute error saying that string str object has no attribute string. So it's going to throw an error. Is that clear? Okay. Then yeah, Python idle download version. Yes, yes, you can use it in Python idle also. So Python idle is basically, I guess, the Windows version of it. So that also you can do, not a problem. Okay, fine. Can't we do it with capitalize instead of title? Yeah. Uh, so question to everyone, can we use capitalize function instead of title? What would be the output if we use capitalize function?
Sir, if you use capitalized function, only the first letter in that sentence will be capital, remaining all will be small. Am I
Right.
audible?
Right.
Whereas in title case, in each word, in that particular string, each word, first letter of the word will be capital.
Right. Correct. That is what exactly what will happen, right? So if you can just see it here, capitalize, and you can see that G is capital, only the first letter, and M is, we also want M as capital, right? So that is not happening in capitalize function. Is that clear, Yash? Okay. Um, Fine. Then, so kind of see uh, so week 3, question number 6. In that question, you're not able to find any null value. You mean in the data frame, in the data that I'll have to check. I've not done that question, so I don't know. But ideally it should have, because then otherwise that question has no meaning. Okay, we'll move to question number 2. So create a list called stationery with the below data. So we have product, price, and then brand, and the stationery is a list of these lists, right? So let's just see. Right. Yeah. So this is what this is. Now, what we want is you want the command to add notebook as the first element inside the first level of the list stationery, right? So what does this mean? Any any thoughts? What do you want to do? What is the final thing that should happen here?
First element of product will be that thing.
Right.
Notebook.
Exactly, right? So the first level of the list means basically the first list, right? So that is your product. So in these 3 lists. So in that you want the first element to be notebook now, right? So so then what do you think? Which of these methods would be would do that for you?
Option B.
Option
B.
B, right? So let's just see if that works. So first, we'll print stationery and we'll see that uh, whether it's coming up properly. Yeah, so as you can see, the first list as it is what we printed. Second is all the prices and then the brands. And then now, if I were to do this, right, and then print the stationery value again, right? So now you can see the pencil, pen, eraser, etc. all have become from, they've been shifted by one, and the notebook is the first entry, right? And remaining everything is unchanged, right? What will the first command? What will that command? What will that do?
It won't shift. In the first position, it will just replace uh, product with notebook.
It would be added to the last of
Add
the
it to it, sorry.
Right. Yes, correct. So it'll append at the last. So it'll be the last entry, so that you can see, for example, if I were to not do this and do this. So as you can see, everything else remains the same in the first list. It only adds notebook at the end, right? What about the third option? The third option, what will that do?
it would swap, I think, pen with notebook.
I'm sorry?
It could swap the product pen with notebook.
Right. I think, yeah. So you're saying that it'll change the pen with notebook, right? It'll replace that, because what we are saying here is, so as you can see, pen with notebook, right? So why does it happen? We are saying stationery of 0 is the product list. In that, we are given the indexing as of 1, right? Brackets of 1. So 1 means the second element. So second element in the product list is pen, and that gets replaced by notebook. So we are assigning the value notebook to the second element of the first list, that is product list. Okay. And then the last. So what is the last option going to do? Fourth option, stationery of 0 extend of notebook. Any thoughts?
Maybe it will also add to the last of product list.
Sorry, your voice is a bit this one. So yeah, so you said it'll add at the last. Is that correct?
Yes,
But that is happening with append, right? What is the difference between append and extend? So this is what extend does, right? Because what we're saying with extend is basically you have a list and have another list, for example, then you have to make that first list longer by adding all the elements in that second list. Now this is not exactly a list, but it's an iterable, right? It's a string, it's a sequence of characters, right? So when you say extend of some sequence, it'll just add that each and every element of that sequence into the first uh, list, that is the product list, right? So then what happens is you get something like this. So you get pencil, pen, eraser, etc. And then each of the characters in the notebook get added as one element in this list, right? Is that clear, everyone? Why it keeps going? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, and what's the doubt? I don't know what this person is doing.
Sir, can I
Okay.
ask a question?
Yeah,
Good evening, sir.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Meenakshi, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. In
Go ahead.
assignment 2, question number 7.
Assignment to question number 7. Okay. Just a moment.
List or append. Relating to this current question, I
Yeah.
have some confusion about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Relating to this current question, sir,
Yeah.
in options there are append and list are there. The question asks which of the following will not give any error after the execution.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
can we see this in practical example or by example in your screen?
Mm,
Not this question, for
yeah.
other if you take other examples also for this execution.
Right. Yes. So I think here the bigger
I have a
point is about the tuples.
yes, I have
Hmm.
a confusion about append list and addition also. T3 is equal to T1 plus T2.
Yeah. So you can try it out here itself, right? So for example, let's say um, so this is the second, right? Q1 says Q2. Yeah. So let's say we were looking at two tuples. So T1 is and T2 is um, and so on. So T1 plus T2, that's the question that we have, right? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
anyone has a thought on what will happen? Open to the class. T1 plus T2. If I were to do something like this, I'm sorry,
The output will be in complex manner.
complex. What is complex manner?
So it's going to concatenate.
Concatenate, right? So that you can see here, right? For example, so that's basically this plus operation in sequences generally is basically to concatenate two sequences into a new sequence, right? That's the idea of this plus symbol. So even in when you have, for example, strings, for example, strings are again sequences, right? So let's say hello plus world, and if I were to see this output, so you will see hello
भडकताचं
world.
दुकान आहे जवळ नाही ना कुठं हं
Uh,
उपनगरला आहे
who is it talking? Okay, right. Yeah, so this becomes a new string with the two strings added to each other, right? That's the idea in sequences. Is that clear? And append, as we discussed again, that it's basically to add a new element into an existing sequence. But for that, you need to know whether, I mean, that depends on whether the sequence is mutable or not, right? I think we have a question anyway in this practice dictionary. So we'll get there. Um, and what is list of T1, right? So for example, let's say, so if I have this, and if I were to say print list of T1, so what will be the output for this? Any thoughts?
It converts the tuple into list.
data type.
That was into the list. That's it, right? So the order is unchanged, right? It's the exact same order that the tuple has. It'll make it into a list. That's it, right? So it'll become a list. So if I were to print T1 as it is, that's going to be a tuple. So this round brackets indicate that it's a tuple, and square brackets indicates that it's a list. Yeah. Um, does that help? Who asked? Jumi, right? You asked, right? So does that help?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Okay. So question two, I guess is clear in the practice. This one. Nasir, do you have the clarity now?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
can we, as I when the class started, I said I found one doubt in the PPT or the
Yes.
P. Should I ask? I found it. What was the error? So that's one I wanted to discuss. Should I discuss now or at the end of the class?
No, no, you can discuss now. Not a problem.
Sir, just I will just give that one. Can you
Yeah.
just take one set, initialize with any of the element of your choice?
Uh, is the PDF here in one of these PDFs?
Okay, I will just save. The name is sequence data methods.
Okay.
Sequence data method. Kindly come to page number 18.
18.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, slide number 18. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you can see one delete. Yeah, before the just the bold letter delete, we can see in 41 discard
Yeah.
57, and the
Yeah.
comment is the set remains unchanged if the element passed discard method doesn't exist. But
Okay.
now when
Yeah.
I tried, so
Huh.
what has happened? No,
Yeah.
57. Now one element I discard, it got deleted. Again, when we do for the second time with the same element, no, since it has already got discarded, it will not show the error. It will just keep quiet. So just I want you to just do it in do it now, so that no what I'm saying, no, that you can.
Yeah. So for example, let's say I have a set here, 57 comma 4 4.5. Is that okay? So if I
Yes,
were to do discard
let us
of
suppose 57.
57, is that what you want to
Now
check?
kindly, yeah, kindly run.
Yeah. So let me just, let's say, print s here once, and then we'll print s here. We'll see what happens to s. Yeah. So 57 comma 4.5 was the first set that we made, and after we discarded 57, it became 4.5. Is that okay?
Now this is what I'm saying, sir. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I want, yeah. Now, so this is in effect. Now, sir, again, kindly copy the last two line and run. Yes, again
Okay.
run. Ah, so
Yeah.
now see, it will never give you something like no in other data structure. It will throw an error saying that that element is not there.
Yeah.
But here, what has happened is even though the element got removed at the first instant, when
Yeah.
again we recopy and run it, it is not going to show us an error saying that that element does not exist.
Correct.
Ah, okay. Now you please come to PPT, sir.
Yeah.
Now the PPT says remark is given, the set remains unchanged if the element passed to it, discard method does not exist. Actually, the method exists. So what I think
No, no,
when
no. No, 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 no. So the sentence is if the element passed to discard method. So the element passed to the discard method is 57 here, right?
Mhm.
So even so if 57 does not exist, that's the so the set remains unchanged if so this the element passed to discard method is what 57. So the set remains unchanged if 57 doesn't exist, which is correct.
so it's not like discard method doesn't exist.
No, 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 no. So it's basically so this okay this is the issue of language in general, but yeah, that's how the sentence is that if the element passed to discard method, so whatever was passed as an input, if that doesn't exist in the set, it remains unchanged, and there's no error also. It doesn't throw error also.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more thing. I just finished this week two also, but
Yeah.
really amazing, sir. That even though I have just went with whatever madam has given the lecture, I have listened that, and I was able to build on that, and I was able to solve that, and then I ran the same program in Google Colab, and I got the answer. Now,
Hmm.
what my worry or I can say hunger to learn is in the video whichever we have got, for example list is discussed, tuple is discussed, dictionary discussed, it is separately discussed. I think only last 2 point was how to convert a list to other form, etc. But in assignment
Okay.
problem we had a combination of for loop also, list also, etc. So can you suggest some PDF or can you give some link in the way this now you are going to upload the video and whatever you are working like that, can you give some textbook, some content where we can have this combination of list dictionary where we are no the assignment from the way they are framed, no, it is not just
Right.
single
Yeah.
combination with that dictionary. So what we call in mathematics, no, composite function. I think, but more than one together is coming. So like that, can you upload a PDF of textbook where we can get still more, no, in-depth knowledge of using the way the assignment problem is framed, no?
Honestly, so I got your point. So you want like a practice problem sheet sort of a thing. Yeah. So I don't have anything off the top of my head right now. You can ask in the Q&A in the discussion forum. So maybe the course TAs might have some recommendations to where you can practice more problems and see how to improve your current knowledge. Is that okay?
Here practicing, yes, sir. Here than practicing, I want. Can we have more content to learn? What I mean to say, theory part of combining more than one structure, like data structure to list to data structure, all those combination. If in case you have got any textbook, because last time also when I was doing MATLAB, no, the concerned TA uploaded some of the textbook PDF, which was so helpful for preparing in detail. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
no, no, I got that. So then, yeah, so I don't have anything as of now with me, or any recommendation also as of now. I would suggest put it on the discussion forum, because there, if people have any suggestions, they can put there. Yeah,
thank you, sir.
yeah. Okay. Um, Yeah, third question. In the practice, this one. So the method to clear all elements from a set is remove, discard, clear, delete. Any thoughts on what is the right answer?
Clear.
Clear, right. What would the first
Clear.
sorry. The first option. What's that used for? For remove?
It
It will remove
removes
an
one element from
element
it.
from
Right.
the
So it will remove one element from the set. And we already have an example here. So for example, if I were to say remove 57, right? So it will just basically remove that element from the set, right? Same thing regarding discard. We just discussed the discard method also. But the idea again between these two, the difference between remove and discard is again, as pointed out in the PDF, was remove will throw an error if the method is if the element is not present. Discard will not throw an error, right? For example, let's say if I were to discard 57, or I can do anything here, let's say remove, and then if I were to try to discard it again, it will not throw any error. But if I do remove, it will throw error saying that, okay, you know what, there's no number 57 in the set anymore, right? So I cannot remove it, right? That's the idea. Okay, so that's the thing between remove and discard, but that's not, but again, that's for remove, that's to remove one element. We want to remove all elements in this set, right? So that you can see from clear. So if I were to do clear here, right? Um, and then print the set, it's going to give an empty set, right? Set. Is that clear? So that's the idea between these two, right? So clear is going to do that. Delete method. Is there a delete method? Yeah, there's no delete method at all, first of all. Yeah. So there's no method called delete at all, right? So that's what's going to give you an error, right? So the answer is 3, clear. Okay, fine. Consider the list. Consider the list. So you have a very big list here. So let's say, sorry, 3. Yeah, let's do Q4. Yeah. So any thoughts on the fourth question?
The answer is 7.
7.
Answer is 7. Okay. So we have my list of index of D, right? So again, remember, we are asking we're asking index. We're not asking the position. Is that clear? So yeah. So index starts from 0. So this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that's the answer. That's 7 is the index. Again, remember, in Python, you start counting from 0, right? So it's 0 and then so on and so forth. What will my list of index of A give you? Any thoughts?
It gives you the first occurrence.
Right. So
Index of
it
again.
correct. So it gives the index of the first occurrence, right? So in this case, A occurs the first time at zeroth index. So that's going to give you 0. Is it clear? Okay. So here the answer is 7. So any other doubts or thoughts on this question?
Yeah, is there any way that we get the last index, I mean the last occurrence of that object, like R index kind of a thing in the list?
The last index. I
You
don't know if
may,
this
for
is
example, you may have A twice, right? 0 and
correct.
1. So I
Correct.
wanted to get the index of the last object, the last occurrence, that is the first one.
Right. So you want basically, let's say, some method, for example, which gives you the answer as 1 in this case, right?
Yes, yes, correct,
Ah.
correct.
Yeah, so I don't remember I don't remember if there's a direct method as such. You might have to write a custom code for it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. There might be, but again, I'm not aware of that very clearly. Yeah. Um, yeah, Kavya, go ahead with your question. Okay. Um, Fine. Then the last question, which is the following Python sequence data type is immutable. So any thoughts? Tuple.
Tuple.
Tuple. That's the only one which is immutable in this particular thing. List is mutable. That is, you can change the elements of the list. Dictionary also you can change the corresponding value to a particular key. Array also can be elements can also be changed. All right. So the answer is tuple in this case. Okay. We'll
Sir,
open
one
the floor for
question
doubts.
about the last occurrence thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, about you said about the last occurrence. Can we use like R index or R find something like that?
R index. So again, what is R index supposed to do? I don't know much about that.
That will
It's
be
supposed to
the element of string actually.
Oh, that's not a method also. Sorry, what?
It's a method in a string which finds the last occurrence of the object.
Ah, okay, I think
In
it's just
string, is it?
string. It won't eventually use for error.
Ah, because I don't see a method in list, but I guess I think it's there in
Dir of that list will give whether the method is available or not
correct,
for
correct.
that
Yeah,
object.
that's correct. Yes. So for example, let's say if I do something like this, print of uh R index. So that's going to 0, 1, 2, 3. That's correct. And if I do index, that's going to give me 2. Yeah. So I think R index is only for strings. That's what it
Only
seems
for
like.
string.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Mm, yeah. And question 5 is yeah clear. Okay. Any other doubts or thoughts um regarding the week one or week two or even week three questions? Ramzi, you can go ahead if you have a question.
Sir, what does discard operation do in a set?
Yeah, so we just discussed that, right? So discard operation basically, let's say uh, uh, you have a set like this of two elements here, for example, 57 and 4.5. And if I were to say discard some element, 57, for example, right? So it removes the element from that set, right? So the set is now changed. So previously it had two elements. Now it has only one element, right? Which is going to be just 4.5. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So there's a question here. Please explain range sample of colon minus one. Okay. Um, so let's say you have a range sample of 2 and range sample of colon minus 1. Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, so colon minus one is is basically just going to give you all the elements in the list, right? Except the last one, basically. So what you can do here is, let's say I print the elements because it's difficult to see um, elements in this way. So let's just do that. So see, range sample, uh, it was 3 to 10, then comma 2. So this basically means that start numbering from 3 and then go increment by 2 every value, and then the last element you should stop whenever the number crosses or is equal to 10, right? So here 9 is less than 10, so it will stop at 9 and it cannot go above 9 because it's the next number will be 11. So this is the range sample. So range sample has these four elements. Now we're saying you give me the range sample as it is, but don't give me the last element. So colon minus 1 tells you start from the first and go until the last. So in Python, negative indexing basically tells you about from backward, right? From the, let's say, the right side, if you think about it, right? So we're saying colon minus 1 will tell you until the last element and don't take the last element. So here what happened, the last element was 9, so we said we don't want the last element, and we got 3, 5, and 7. Is that clear? Madhvi, is that clear? Yeah, so immutable basically means that you cannot change the values or things in that particular object. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Fine. Any other doubts for so if people have seen the week 2 assignment, any doubts in the assignment? We can't discuss the exact question, but anything that you need to clarify, we can do that.
So I have one quick question. So
Yeah.
tuple is immutable and is an hashable, right? Suppose
Mhm.
let's say that we have nested kind of a thing, like tuple contains a list inside,
Yeah.
and can we alter the element of that list?
I think you can't even put list inside the tuple, I think, because first of all, it's immutable. It's mutable, right?
Object, right? Yeah, we can try that. Can we
Yeah,
try?
yeah. So let's see. So let's say I'll call tuple 3, hello, whatever, then 4, 5, 6. So it seems to be working fine. So print of t. So it gives you the list. Now let's try changing it. So 3 t of 2 will give me the list, right?
Yeah,
And then of let's say 1,
yeah,
I want
whatever.
to make it to right, and then I'll say print of t. So it's changing.
So it doesn't guarantee that it's a complete, immutable, right? In that case,
In
if
that
it
case, that's
is,
true. Yeah, yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah. uh so yeah, it seems like yeah, this is a bit weird. Why would that be? Hmm. I would have thought that this itself will give you an error because this itself is mutable, so then this doesn't make sense to put it here. But yeah, yeah, it doesn't guarantee then. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, it can be dictionary also. It can be set also. The tuple can contain other elements as well. It,
Uh, so if I were to do something like this,
yeah, can we
yeah,
try that? It accepts.
so it does seem to not throw any error here. Yeah, yeah, this is weird. So it doesn't need, so it can have any object as such. But okay, so directly, I think you cannot change anything. That's obvious. But yeah, again, if that object has something, then it can change. Yeah.
So the property of that inner object gets inherited in that case, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So because list is a mutable, so it gets inherited over there inside when we have a nested kind of a thing.
No, it's not inherited as such. I would just say that it's unchanged, right? I mean, because list by default is mutable, and you're only trying to access that element's mutability, right? So just because of the fact that there's a list inside a tuple, it doesn't make the tuple mutable. So there's no inheritance as such.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Uh, Assignment question by using other examples. So that's exactly what I was wondering. So I mean, um, so we have covered basic basics here. So, but if you have any doubts in any specific questions, we can do that. So, for example, let's say if you want to look at the set operations, right? Mathematical set operations. For example, let's say if I have S1 as hello world, S2 as 3.4 and hello. So if I were to look at S1 and S2, right? So what would be the output for this particular um, snippet? Any thoughts? So set operations, you can do mathematical operations on sets. So what do you think the answer will be for this question?
It's an intersection.
Is an intersection, right? So two sets, you can have union, intersection, and for a single set, you can look at other things. So here is going to be just hello, right? Because that's the exact, yeah, that's correct. So just that one particular string is common between S1 and S2. So that's going to give you a set again, but with only one element that is hello, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, so if there are any specific questions, we can tackle them. Otherwise, um, any other doubts? No? Um, so week three, any doubts in week three though? What we discuss, what is present in week three? Pandas data frames and explain the input function. What input function? Python input function.
Yeah, it accepts the input from the user and it will always consider that as by default as a string.
Right, right. So for example, if I were to do something like this, so it's waiting for me to write something, right? And then I can say, and just it'll go ahead and print the same thing, right? So for example, okay, let's just do this. If I were to, um, sorry, if I were to say try writing 34, it prints 34, but then we need to see what's the type, right? So type of R, uh, and that's going to give me string, right? That's what the input function is doing. So it's waiting for an input from the user, right? In whatever way you're putting it here, and it's going to give you the output in. I mean, it's always going to read it as string, right? So by the way, if I have to convert this to int, what would I have to do?
Int of, int
That's it.
function, intf.
Correct. So if I say int of r and then print of type of r again, so that's going to give me uh, so 34, and so it's taken as string, then we change it to int, and that's the proof that it has become int, right? And if it so int function works like as it works basically that if it's possible to change to an int, it'll do it. If it is not possible, it'll throw an error, right? So let's say if I were to do hi, so it read the high as it is, it as a string, and then it tried to do int of high, which is not possible, right? So therefore it threw an error, right? That's that's um, that's the input function. Is that hopefully that's clear, Rehan, right? Balaji, go ahead with your question.
So good evening, sir. I had a question from week to NumPy itself,
Yeah.
and what does exactly the operation of dot function do in NumPy?
Yeah, correct. Okay, fine. So Madhvi also apparently has the same question, so we'll just tackle that. So so NumPy dot function. Okay, let's just make a new one. Um, um, yeah. So let's say I have input NumPy. Uh, yeah. So see, this is exactly the question in quick question number 3. So this will be a bit challenging to solve. Okay, let's say it's A1, A2, array, 5, let's something like this, but this is going to be 1 cross 3, 3 cross 1, 1 cross 4, 4 cross 1, and 1. It's going to be, yeah, it'll have to be like this. Just a moment, guys. I think this should work. Yeah. So numpy dot of A1 comma A2.
It does multiplication of the array.
Yes. So, but yeah, just not the regular multiplication.
Matrix multiplication.
Matrix multiplication. That's it. That's the whole point, right? So here, actually, first let's just go step by step. So so A1, I guess. So in this particular example, as you can see, so A1 is an array and it has 4 elements in it, but it's a two-dimensional array, right? So for that, what we will do is let's just see what's the shape of A1. Okay. So it's a 1 comma 4. So it's a 1 row, 4 column matrix. It's a two-dimensional array. So it's basically a matrix, right? So and A2 is 4 comma 1, right? So it's a 4 rows, 1 column matrix. So what dot function is going to do here, numpy dot function is basically doing a matrix multiplication, right? So now in this case, if I have two matrices, 1 cross 4 and 4 cross 1, what is the output when I do matrix multiplication? Output size?
1 cross 1.
1 cross 1, right? It's going to be a 1 cross 1 matrix, or basically one element, right? And in this case, now when I have 1 cross 4 and 4 cross 1, so when I do matrix multiplication here, what will it, what should be the output, right? So it's basically going to be these elements with these elements matrix multiplication. So let's just, for ease of visualization, we'll print these two also. Hopefully it does a good job. Okay. So 1 cross 4 like this, 4 cross 1 like this. Now, when you do matrix multiplication, it's going to do what? It's going to do 1 into 3, then 2 into 4, then 3 into 5, and 4 into 4, and then add up all the elements in that, right? So it's going to be 3 plus 8, right? 11 plus 15, that's 26, plus 16, that's 42, right? So it's basically going to do a matrix multiplication. Is that clear? But that's one, I mean, that's one thing of it. If you see the in-depth, I don't know if it here works. So if you look at the documentation of numpy dot function, right? So numpy dot, right? So yeah, so it supports a lot of different functionalities. For example, let's say if both of them are 1D arrays, it does the inner product of vectors. So what is inner product of vectors? So let's say if it's 1D arrays, right? So let's do one thing. We'll just make this simple and we'll make them as one dimensional. Um, yeah, so yeah, so you can see A1 is a one-dimensional array. right? Four elements in it. Same thing with A2, one dimensional, four elements in it. We again got a dot as 42, right? So this basically it's saying that if both are one-dimensional arrays, it does the inner product. So in inner product, basically the idea is that it will do that. It'll basically it'll take it as this will become a 1 cross 4 vector. It'll become a row vector. This becomes a column vector, and it does the matrix multiplication there, right? And gives back a scalar. So previously when we were doing it, we got a matrix again. So that is also a matrix, but with one row, one column. Here it's a scalar. Okay, is that clear? And then there are other use cases also. For example, let's say if there are 2D arrays, this is exactly what we saw, that it's a matrix multiplication, right? And then let's say if both are scalars, then it's just a multiplication, right? Simple, sorry, if either of them is a scalar, right? For example, let's say if I were to give, A2 as just 3, right? There's no shape for this. Yeah, so then it's just going to give me so the dot is just going to be multiplication of 3 with all these elements, which is basically your 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, right? That's the dot product. That's the dot, right? And then what do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, so it's an ND array and then 1D array is the sum product over last axis of A and B. This is all more complicated stuff that happens. But again, so that's the idea. So, but in general, just remember it's a matrix multiplication sort of an uh, uh, thing that it does. Is that clear? Ritesh, last week's videos are uploaded online. You can check from there. Yeah. Uh, can we also create a matrix from numpy array? Yeah. So I mean, so matrix is basically a two-dimensional array. That's what you would think of it as, right? So if the elements of the numpy array, when you're calling that this one is a two-dimensional list or two-dimensional object, it will make it'll be treated as a matrix, right? Um, so array and numpy array, I think, yeah, so no, they are different. Array is, I guess, a bit more Pythonic sort of a thing. Numpy array, so it supports a lot of other, functionalities also. So you can do this dot products and etc. So it's basically meant for doing data science in that sense, right? Um, Error in concatenation of array example. Sanjana, you'll have to give the exact example, um, so we can see what's the problem. I mean, that'll be a better use of the time. Um, okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So
Sir,
can
sir, good
numpy
evening.
array
Sorry,
can
Kiran, go ahead. Yeah.
can the numpy array can contain different data types
Uh,
elements?
yeah, it can. Then what NumPy does is it makes it as a object data type. So um, let's take a simple example. Um,
Can we also have a float value in one of the array that we are creating? Maybe like 1, 2, 3.04. Will it accept that?
yeah, just a moment. So NumPy dot array, for example, 3 comma 4.5, right? So then we'll let's just print A1 and we'll also print A1 dot D type. Um, yeah, so as you can see, the first element is morphed into 3 point something, right? It's not 3, it's 3.0. So it's made it as a float, right? It's trying to typecast it into making a single data type across all possible elements that it has. So now that becomes a problem. So when we try something like this, 4.5 and hello. So then what it does, see now it has made everything into a string, right? And the type is something like a U32. I'm not exactly sure what this means. It's some sort of an object sort of a thing, right? So this is what numpy array will do if you have mixed data types in it in the calling function.
Thanks.
Yeah, but remember, list does not change the data types again, right? So list you can have a mixture of different type of elements, and their actual type will be maintained in the list, whereas numpy array is not able to do that. Okay, Jumi, I think you also had a question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, which is more reliable to use, Jupyter Notebook or Spider? Actually, I have installed Spider, but during this course or other examples, I see Jupyter Notebook is more easy to use. Sir, what do you suggest for this?
So again, any of the IDs are okay, as long as you're using Python version 3, and which is what is supported now in global standards. So that should be fine, not a problem. Anything is fine. Okay, Sanjana has given the example. In this, it is giving a type error as tuple is not callable. Okay, let's just try that. So okay, so first of all, we need an air sample. So let's say I'll call it, okay, I'll need the area first. So let's just do that. Hmm. Array of I, right? I is integer. And then I have to give some elements, 3, 4. And see, I'm not sure if did you miss a comma here while coding or while giving? You have to make sure it's the comma is present, right? And then this comes in. So you can see it as concatenated properly, no errors, right? So 3, 4, and then 50, 60 is the output of this concatenation. Um, was the comma the issue? That could be it, maybe. It's supposed to give me it's giving something else altogether. So it's string elements must be integer slices, not tuple. So probably that's what is giving you the error. Sanjana, just try it out and let me know. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
sir.
yeah. Yeah, Kiran, go ahead.
Sir, can you go back to the previous question that the different data types that we use 3 and 4.5
Yeah.
in array, it gave it as 3.0 and 4.5, right? So
Yeah.
can I, instead of converting that into the float, if I wanted that to be converted into the integer and keep it that as a 3 and as well as a 4 instead of 3.4 and 4.5, is it any way that I can do it?
So it provides you another argument in this one, and you
Okay.
can say int. I think this should be it. Yeah. That's your
Okay.
call. Yeah.
Okay. So we need to pass the another. Okay.
Another
Like,
argument. That's
correct.
correct. Yes.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And so by default, I think array does. Okay, no, I think it looks at the data types here and then it does it. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. So if you can pass here int, and then it'll try to make sure everything is whatever you passed.
Got it. Thanks. Thanks, sir.
Okay. Um. Anything else? Yeah, Ramzi, go ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between discard and remove?
Yeah, so we just covered that. I'm not sure exactly where we're losing track of that. So just to repeat, so I'll just yeah, for example, this is the question we were trying it out, right? So as I said, that if you were to discard, so discard and remove both works in similar way. They will take an element into as the input value, and then they'll try to remove it from the set. But the idea here is that discard will not throw an error if the element is not present. Remove will do that. For example, let's say if I were to say discard A, uh, uh, so let's say remove. Okay. Yeah. So the first time, it you can see the set is what we defined, and it tries to discard A. So there's no error in that. So it prints as it is, and then we say remove A. It says there's a key error that it does not exist, so it cannot remove. Right. Um, that's the difference. Okay, hope that's clear. Hasmita, you can go ahead and she's on hold. Um, okay. Any other doubts? In any other doubts in the week 2 or week 3 as in week 3 syllabus? So string concatenations are clear. How do we concatenate strings? That will be required for you to do the second question in week 2 assignment, right? So numpy dot we have anyway covered. Question 5 is just basically looping through the set elements, right? So that should be fine, hopefully. What's PYQ? Oh, previous year's questions. Oh, I'm not sure about that. You will have to ask the course TAs. So you can ask it on the discussion forum.
So I'm sorry, sir. Can you just explain question number 2? Something related to that, sir. Question number 2 of assignment.
Question number 2, an assignment
No,
2.
you need not tell the same thing. Just I have a confusion. I'm working it out.
Yeah. So for example, so basically that's how to do string concatenations, right? So let's say this is exactly what we did with the hello world example, no? So let's say if I have hello, and then if I do a world, right? So then, yeah, so then if you see this output, it's just going to be hello and world joined together, right? That's how concatenation of string will work, correct? So and in general for sequences, that's right. That's basically right. So plus for two sequences is just going to be concatenation of those two sequences giving rise to a new sequence, which is in this case hello world. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So if I have to add a special character in between, for example, I want it as hello plus world. Can I put it as, sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, you're audible.
Yeah. If I want to put it as hello plus world, can I add plus also as a string element, sir? Because I want the concatenation to give a result of hello plus world.
Okay. So you can just make the second string to be plus, right? I mean, it's a valid string character. So this will work, but that's not the question. So you'll have to think a bit about that. So see, again, as I told you that this hello plus world when we did, the key is in the, just follow this sentence. So two sequences, you concatenate it and it gave back a new sequence with this changed, with whatever, with the thing that's, joined, right? So it gave back a new sequence. Think about that's the keyword, right? So with that, you should be able to work out the second question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Hasmita, go ahead. Are you here? Okay. Um, right. So question number 3 we did. Question number 4, 5. Yeah. So I think we are done with this one. Any other doubts in general, or last week we had discussed that we'll get into class and OOPS concepts. So if so, time seems to remain, so we can do that. Yeah. So Piyush, all the sessions will be recorded and they'll be put on YouTube. The link will be shared um, by NPTEL. No doubts, no questions. Week 3, any questions? Anybody has gone through week 3 lectures in pandas data frames, how to create, how to read data from CSV files, etc., etc. Control structures and functions. So, for example, let's say if I have to do something like, do something based on a condition, right? How do you do that? That's that's discussed in the control structures and functions video. And then how to visualize data, right? That's week 3. Um, okay, Asmita, I just yeah. Okay. Shall we go ahead with OOPS in Python? If if you guys are interested. Okay. So OOPS basically it stands for object oriented programming. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question about function eval plus input. What does that do? Like we use int input, so what does eval input do?
Sorry, your voice is a bit muffled. Can you either type or you can fix the mic or something?
Yeah, okay, I'll type in chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Eval of input. Okay. Eval. It's been a while using that. So I think it's about um yeah. So eval is basically the context of this one. Okay, okay. So I think something like this. Eval of 3 plus 4, is that correct? I'm not sure. Okay. So eval is basically going to evaluate the string that you pass into it as a Python program, if I'm not wrong. Um, I think as a Python program. So a Python expression or a code object written by compile. Yeah. So Python expression, not Python. complete program, it may not do, I think. But yeah, as a this one, right? So that's the idea of eval. So let's say if I were to do something like this, it's going to work. So the idea here is that oh, okay, you have a further follow-up question. How about just 3 plus 4 without this one? Yeah, so you can also try that, but let's just see what's happening. So there seems to be a compiler, this one. It must be a string bytes or a code object. So it has to be a string. So 3 plus 4 will first evaluate as 5. And then 5, sorry, 7. And then 7 is not a string. So it's going to fail. That's the idea. Yeah. So basically, so this eval of input. So input function is basically what we discussed, right? So it'll wait for something that the user has to type in. And the idea is that it becomes easier than to write a custom sort of a thing. So where the user can just write some Python expression and then it'll get the user will get the answer for it, right? That's the thought process. But then you have to be careful because then input doesn't check if it's a valid Python expression or if it has any malicious code being written in, etc., etc. So all of that then has to be done separately. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically what OOP stands for, object-oriented programming. So the philosophy here is that let's say whenever you have something that you some data and the program that you are evaluating on the particular program, the idea here is that these two should be present together, right? For example, for example, yeah, correct. Sorry, keep shifting. Yeah, it won't be useful when it's when dealing with security purposes. That's correct. Yeah. The input function itself as such for that matter. So that's just going to give you exactly what the user wrote. But then if the user is a fraudulent user or a malicious user, then that's going to be a problem. Yeah. So in this particular way of programming in this design scenario, what you do is you then define something called as a class. Let's say I want to, uh, you know, uh, 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 write a method for, let's say, dog, right? And so any whatever properties of the dog are, that should be present in this particular statement itself. That's the idea. So then the way we do it is um, so I'll give, for example, let's say, what's the sound of that particular dog that makes, and then you will say, okay, it's bow wow or barking sound, right? So in this scenario, this class as such is the definition of whatever data and whatever functions you want clubbed together into one logical group, and then you would basically form an object of this class, right? For example, let's say this is the dog that I have, or let's say Tommy is the dog, and then Tommy will have, so if you want to access or if you want to basically understand what sound does Tommy do, you will basically say something like this, Tommy dot sound, right? And this is exactly the idea behind. Sorry, who is so this is the idea behind this concept of object-oriented programming. So where you're keeping the data that you have, that is, let's say, whatever you want to keep about the information about the dog, and the functions or whatever operations that you can do on or on this particular dog as one particular construct, right? Is that clear? Yeah. So what does init mean? Yeah. So this init basically is telling you it gives you a way to create an object of this class. So class is sort of like a template. It's like saying you have the plan, right? And then you have the execution of the plan, right? So let's say today, from morning, so morning you made a plan that I will, work on Python from 3 to 4. So when 3 o'clock comes in, you actually are implementing the plan from minute to minute. So that is the difference. So this is the class, that's the template or the plan that is present, and Tommy becomes the execution of the plan. So that's the instance of that. It's called an instance of that class, also called as an object. So this Tommy is object, dog is the class. Is that clear? Yes. So what does self parameter do? So this is basically the reference to that same object. So for example, let's say when I say Tommy.sound, this basically internally how it works is it's just going to, sort of, it's going to do something like this. It's going to say dog dot sorry, sound of Tommy, right? So it's going to give the self object is basically a self parameter is the reference to the same object that is present. Now, why does that become important is when you start giving attributes to your, some more information to the object. For example, let's say they give something like this name, right? And then something like this. So this basically tells you, so name is the input parameter to this init function, right? And then we are assigning that parameter to a attribute of the object, all right? And then whatever is there in self, that can be accessed through the self parameter. So now what I can do is I can write something like this. Self.name, uh, let's say box, right? So now if I say that name is Tommy, and then if I do Tommy.sound, it's going to give me Tommy Bucks, right? Or let's say if I do some other name, right? This is going to say PewDiePie Bucks, right? So this gives an access, or this self parameter allows you to access the methods and attributes of that same object. Okay. That's the self parameter use case. Yeah. Okay. Um, so this is the basic idea. So this is what is called as encapsulation, basically where you're trying to store information about the object and whatever data, whatever methods you can do on that object in the same sort of a construct. Then so the bigger sorry, yeah. So the bigger advantage of OOPS is basically when you get into inheritance and um, uh, abstract classes and so on. So let's say I don't want to just create uh, dog as the object, right? So I don't know what is happening. Um, Ah, so then what I say is, for example, saying that I'm going to create a sort of super class sort of which is an let's say animal, and I'll have the same sort of a thing. I'll say every animal will have a name. Self dot name is name, right? And every animal will do a sound, right? But I don't know what the animal is, so I don't know what sound they will make. So I'll just say nothing for now, right? So then what I will do, I'll say, okay, dog, it extends the class animal, right? So what it does is we are saying that dog is a kind of an animal. So we can basically extend this class animal and then say whatever the name is there, and then here we will say that okay, dog is an animal, and the animal's name is whatever name I've passed here. So for that, you will use this super construct, right? So and the way of doing it is basically like this. So you will say name is equal to name, right? So what it does is super of dog comma self. This tells you this is basically the way to access the super class. So in this case, dog is the class and animal is the dog's super class. So its init function, that is this function. So as you can see, if I put the pointer here, that this is also getting highlighted. So then that animal's name, basically this dog's name, is set to whatever name I've passed here. Right? That's the idea. And here I will say, okay, now every dog basically barks. So now this is what going to is going to work. So as you can see, the output is sort of unchanged, right? So what uh, in what way did this help us is basically when I get into, let's say if I were to define a cat also as an animal, and then do these sort of things here. It will be cat comma self, right? And the sound would be uh, meows, right? So then what I can do is I would have a cat and yeah, then this helps you to basically reuse your function, basically saying that, okay, you know what, sound is something that every animal should have. So then cat will also have a sound, and you can change based on whatever classes we want to make. Is that that's another idea in object-oriented programming. All right. Um, yeah, Kavya, go ahead. You have a doubt? No, you don't have a doubt. Kavya, do you have a doubt? Okay. Then another aspect of this is basically when you come to something called as abstract classes. So where the idea is that so here, as you can see, the fact that sound there's no, I mean, uh, unless we know what the animal is, what sound is going to make, there's no way of making it clear. So in that case, what we would do is we make it something called as an abstract class. Uh, I think this is what it is, abstract. Yeah. Um, yeah. So the way to do it in Python is basically animal will basically extend the ABC class. ABC is a provided class by Python itself, and then you would define this method as abstract method, right? And then say that okay, any class which extends my current class has to implement this function called sound. In the previous thing, it may or may not do that, right? Here you sort of force it and say that uh, anyone who does it has to implement it. So in that case, then let's say if I were to create another animal class, another animal here, right? And then say, uh, yeah. So again, same thing. So you would have this, and then if I were to not implement it, I would have an issue when uh, making the tiger object, right? Name tiger.sound is not defined, so we'll see what happens. So it says that it cannot create the class itself because the abstract sound has not been implemented. So we have to go back and say um, uh, rows or whatever. So then you would get something like this. Yeah. So in this way, it becomes very powerful going forward, and especially in when you get into complex machine learning algorithms. So PyTorch, for example, as a library, that provides a very you know uh, useful way of handling your model ML models, and that then becomes your base class, which is what you will extend. So, for example, animal is something that will come from some other library, or someone provides you that particular functionality, and then you create uh, instances of that particular class, or extend that particular class into whatever functionality that you want additionally on top of whatever has been provided, right? So that's the thought process. Um, and then some people could argue something like this, saying that tiger is an animal, but tiger is at the end also a cat. Um, but then tiger doesn't meow, so we would want it to be overridden. So this is called overriding. So if I didn't provides anything like this, this will work uh, like this. So it would say Sher Khan meows, right? So it says that, okay, tiger uh, object was there, and I want its sound, right? But there's no sound element, method defined for this particular class. So it goes to its higher class, its super class, that is cat, and then it says, okay, is there a sound here? It says yes. So then it'll just do this, execute this function. But if you wanted to override what is already present, you would do something like this, right? And then it would say Sher Khan roars, right? That's the idea. Um, so this is basically what OOPS concept is. This is a way to write and maintain code, and it becomes easier again with practice. That's the thought process. This is a very short version of how to do OOPS in Python. Hopefully it was useful, but feel free to ask any questions if you have anything right now. That's all I have about OOPS. Yeah. What will be the exam pattern? Again, regarding exams, regarding syllabus, please ask on the discussion forum. The course TAs are better people to answer it. Okay. Any other doubts regarding what we discussed, or regarding week 1, week 2, week 3 lectures? So how many of you know dictionaries? Let's say if I were to define a dictionary like this, 3, 4, 4, 5. So if I have to change the value for what is stored against 4, how do I do that? Anyone? So here 4, so against 4, I have the value 5 being stored. So if I have to change it to, let's say, some 7 or something, how would I do that? Come on, this is important for your questions. 10 and I think 8. This is a basic. So the way to do that would be basically something like this. D of 4 is equal to 7. And then you can see the changed output here, right? Yeah, D of 4 is equal to, let's say, whatever value you want, right? So yeah, so again, so here the idea is that to access an element from the dictionary, you would have to do something like this. You would give the key here, and it will return the value. And depending on whether that particular value is mutable or not, that will affect what operations you can do further on it, right? So that's what you would do. And for example, let's say if you want to add something new to this dictionary, right? Then you would, let's say if I want to make another entry where I store 0 against 9. So it would be this, right? And then you can see here print of D that gives you 9. So 0 stored against the value, key 9, right? But it's not just one way of doing this is not the only way of updating a dictionary. Let's say you have another dictionary itself, right? Yeah, another dictionary itself. For example, let's say UI. Then what you can do is you can say, okay, D dot update of D2, right? So then that's basically going to update your dictionary altogether. Oh, sorry. So yeah, right. So this is basically going to be so now D has whatever is present in D2, all of that will just get added to the dictionary D, right? If I had more values here, for example, YU, and that's going to be the way. So your D dictionary gets updated from with all the keys and values of that dictionary passed as a input here. Yeah. Yeah, so this should help you solve questions 8 and 10. Uh, on these lines is what the basics are. Yeah. So you will work as the key of D. That's correct. Yes. So now if I do D of U, that's going to give me whatever was present in D2 against it, because that's how those values were updated here. So it's going to give me I, right? That's a value stored against the key U in D2, and that's what got updated in D also. All right. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other doubts? And see, let's say you have we have, let's say, multiple functions being called, right? For example, let's say you have yeah, so see, defining your functions hasn't been dealt with until week 2, that is in week 3, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's say some x plus 5 f2 X also. So return X plus n. So I can nest functions one into the other while calling, right? For example, let's say I can say f1 of f2 of 3, right? If I were to do that, that is basically going to give me, so what it will do is it will first evaluate the innermost function, right? So first it'll evaluate f2 into f2 of 3. f2 of 3 is basically saying you give me 3 into 10. X, whatever you pass x, you should give me x into 10. So that's going to give you 30. And then f1 of 30. So then f1 gets called. Okay. And here what f1 is doing is it's saying, okay, whatever is there, just add 5 to it and give it back, right? So this gives you 30. Then 30 gets passed as a input in F1, then F1 gives back 35, right? Versus if I were to do something like this, F2 of F1 of 3, that's a whole different ball game, right? Because here now F1 of 3 is going to be 3 plus 5, 8, right? That 8 gets passed into F2 as an argument. So that becomes 8 into 10, that's 80, right? So that's how these nested function calling works, right? So whenever you, so just remember again, whenever you have brackets, the innermost brackets first gets resolved, and then Python starts going above it, right? Beyond that, okay? Um, right? So this is how uh, nested function calling works. That might be useful for doing some of the questions in week 2. Okay. Um, right. If there are no more questions, we'll close the session for today. And in the next week, by next week, your week 1 and week 2 assignments have to be submitted and by 6th August. So we'll discuss the solutions for week 1 and week 2 in detail. All right, assignments in detail. And again, I would like to remind you that tomorrow 7 p.m. is another session by another PMRFTA. So if any further doubts, you can get clarified there. Okay. Um, Fine. So we'll close the session for now. Okay, thanks for coming and hopefully this was useful. Okay, I'll stop the recording.